Well, hello there. My name's Karen Turpin. I'm a transformational mindset coach and spiritual teacher and the creator of Abundance Bootcamp. And this is my vlog for the 16th of April. It's called Transformation Through Isolation. Now, these are unprecedented times, and we've been hearing this everywhere lately. But what if it's not really what we think it is? What if we are actually in a time of unprecedented opportunity for growth and transformation? Perhaps one that was divinely orchestrated as a kind of counterpunch off the back of what appears to be a global disaster or pandemic, as they're calling it now. But what if the collective shock and trauma that we as humanity felt as we watched everything that we had come to know as normal literally disintegrate in front of our eyes? What if our shock and trauma created the trigger event that was required for the shift of consciousness that we've been waiting for? There's a quote here from the movie Inception. And it says, it's that feeling of falling you get that jolts you awake. It snaps you out of a dream. That's certainly something that I've been feeling recently. Did you notice a feeling of falling? Or perhaps that feeling like you were in suspended animation, waiting to land somewhere and wake up? So admittedly, we can experience similar types of feelings as we move through trauma, but I've also experienced it many times in meditation or in interdimensional travel too. So is this the time we've been waiting for? Even if it's not, though, could we use it as such? Could we approach it differently, shift our gears a little bit and see it from a different or higher perspective? And consciously shift ourselves out of fear or panic by choosing to move our attention and become really aware of where our thoughts are. What would this experience look like from a higher mind perspective as opposed to lower mind or 3D mind or fear, which is what many people are experiencing now? Quite honestly, a few weeks ago, I wobbled and I fell into a hole, or it certainly felt that way. I felt like I'd hit rock bottom anyway, and I stayed there for just a little while because I couldn't shake myself out of it, and that's very, very unlike me. I really hardly recognized myself in that space. And I understood that the feelings that I was having were the feelings that millions of other people were having too. It was as if I had dropped right into the collective unconscious, into the collective mind even, and it felt very stagnant and heavy. And it was the darkest place that I've been in for quite a while. And in that place, it was hard to meditate. You know, I've been teaching meditation for 25 years. I know how to meditate. I know what that feels like. But in this particular space that I went into, I really felt quite lost and directionless. And I felt very small. And it was difficult to remember my greatness, my connection with Source or with the divine. And the pains of humanity seemed all consuming. And I know that this is a place where many people live day in and day out. And in fact, through this current global crisis, many people have actually absolutely plunged into that place. But on the third day, my meditation practice seemed to finally work. I got my connection back, even though, of course, I never really lost it. It just felt that way. And I managed to lift myself up again. My energy clearing techniques reaped the expected results. The heavy energy shifted, and I felt absolutely reborn. I stepped into a whole new reality, and I realized, of course, that I'd stripped away an old identity of myself that no longer served me. So before I went into this place, I had recognized myself as being in a process of inner transformation. But somehow or other, I'd forgotten about this type of shamanic death, or death of the ego, that often accompanies such a shift of consciousness. Having been through many of these shamanic deaths before, how I could have forgotten this, I have no idea. It's surely not something that one can forget easily. But perhaps, there's some kind of inbuilt self-preservation mechanism or something. Probably something similar to what laboring women have when they conveniently forget the pain of childbirth until they find themselves doing it all over again with the next child. And then they wonder, how could I have forgotten this? Anyway, coming through this transformation like this is really quite surreal and exacerbated, I think, by this global transformation event that we are experiencing collectively. And it truly is like the micro to the macro, or the inner to the outer transformation, knowing, of course, that we can only really change our external environment when we first change our inner or internal environment. So being in isolation, as so many of us are right now, gives us a perfect opportunity to transform, as in we need a quiet place away from the world to do that. But we must take care to approach this from the right perspective. And it's prudent for me to clearly state, particularly at this time, that if you feel like you've fallen in a hole and you can't get out of it, it's not necessarily a shamanic death that you will move out of in a few days' time. Because all of the time that I was in that hole, I was working on myself to move and clear the energy. I was meditating to understand what was happening to me and to know myself at a deeper level. And I was listening to discern the inner guidance from the distractions. And I say this because depression and suicidal thoughts are quite common at the moment. They probably always are, but maybe exacerbated at the moment. And, you're not necessarily going through a shamanic death. And you must seek help if you feel that you're in that place without the proper spiritual tools or know-how to get yourself out. Now, as I've mentioned previously, we can experience any timeline that we choose to. We create our reality based upon the thoughts and feelings that we choose for ourselves. And I often use the analogy that it's like stepping out of an elevator onto the level that you choose to experience based on your thoughts and the vibration that you hold in your body and consciousness. So will you use this opportunity for growth, or will you sit there in fear, anger, or resentment over what has happened globally or personally? And will you perhaps focus your attention on the numbers of dead people, most of whom you don't even know? But that will most certainly bring your vibration down to a lower level. Now, I've been down the conspiracy path, and believe me, awareness of it is all fine and good, and actually encouraged, really, to some degree, as most of it is proven to be accurate over time. But if you focus all of your attention on it, you will miss some glorious opportunities that are being presented to you, opportunities that will always take you to a much higher place, because again, focusing on all of the conspiracy will bring your vibration down. So it's just a matter of timelines, really. Do you want to live on a conspiracy timeline? And do you choose, to experience everything that is laid out for you on that timeline? Or would you prefer to choose a timeline of, say, abundance, health, wealth, the choice is yours. So wherever you place your attention, you focus your energy, and there you will experience that particular outcome. My path of service has always been to awaken, to inspire, and to help people transform themselves to be the best, most powerful version of themselves that they can be. Now, understandably, in order for me to do this, I must do the same within myself. And as I go through this personal transformation and come more and more into alignment with my truth, I can begin to make more impact in the world and reach more people, which I know is what I'm here to do. So I'm very excited as this begins to unfold, and to know that I'm being prepared to take my work to the next level. And as we move forward into this new timeline that we're approaching very quickly now, indeed, so there's really no time to waste on this. Now, some would view this as a most disturbing time on the planet right now, but actually I choose to see it, and I really feel it as a very exciting and uplifting time to be here. Because all the work that we've done to date to know ourselves, to grow ourselves, it's beginning to come to fruition now. We have been in training for this time, if you like. And it's really exciting to see, that this is all beginning to happen now. It's a really exciting time to be alive when you are in alignment. And I know that without that inner alignment, this current time that we're in wouldn't feel quite the same. But, don't stress about this and don't fall into fear over it, because it's not too late to start working on yourself or to dig a little deeper within yourself. So you might already know what you need to do. So do it, take aligned action, take the inspired action that you know you need to. What are you waiting for? And if you don't know what to do, then of course, I'm offering that you can book a free mini coaching call with me. And I'll give you a few pointers on how to get through this process so that you can come out on the other side of it in an even better place, energetically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, than from when you went into this. So, you don't have to be alone through this process. And in fact, I don't want you to be alone through the process, particularly if you feel like you've fallen into a dark place. I encourage you to reach out and get some help from myself or another therapist, or maybe come and join my Facebook group. It's called Source Light Connection. And I'm currently offering in there some free virtual coffee and chat sessions so that I can coach you or answer your questions and help and support you. So it's okay to feel down, but don't be alone through this. And if you know that you're ready to take the next step, if you know that this is your time to step up, then book a coaching package with me and let me help you completely transform your life, so that you can come into alignment with your personal mission, so that as this global lockdown begins to lift, and it will very soon, I feel, but as it begins to lift, you too will be lifted, and you will have transformed your life, or you will be well on the way to that. And you can transform your life really in ways that you only ever dreamed of previously, so that you can step out and really be on mission, on track. I do believe that together we lift each other higher, and I'd love to help you with that if you would like to work with me. So come into my Facebook group. I'll put a link below, and I hope to see you there. In the meantime, I will bid you a fond farewell. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.